So that takes us through to the next step, which is strategy number 4, profit maximizer strategy number 4, minimizing the expenses. So how does this work for us? Most businesses have non-conformance costs that they don't even recognize, okay? If you don't measure it, you can't manage it. Most businesses have rework, they have inefficiency, they're not optimized, and so there's a lot of non-conformance cost. And non-conformance cost is a killer of profitability. It's straight off the bottom line, okay? One of the departments I took over, we had a non-conformance rate of 7%, and that was based on a planned margin rate of only 10%. So almost all of our planned profit was being eaten up by non-conformance rework. And so as soon as we dealt with that, the profitability of the department went through the roof. But let's just look at how important this is to your business value, to the embedded value of your business. Again, going back to our $2 million company, if we have a 4%, an NCC rate that's 4% of sales, that would give us $160,000 of non-conformance. If we can reduce that to 2%, we're saving $80,000. That's $80,000 that goes to profit, okay? Remember, we're looking at a 12x multiplier. So that's almost $1 million of extra value that you're adding onto your business simply by reducing your non-conformance costs by 2%, okay? So this is a huge win for the business. But in order to detect your non-conformance costs, you have to have systems, you have to have processes, you have to have metrics. And this is why most people drift along with high NCCs, not knowing how much of their hard-earned profit they're just throwing away in rework, okay? The other thing we do is what we call the E to P exercise. So the idea here is to list your top 7 expenses. So it could be inventory, payroll, lead generation, whatever it is. You can tell this, your accountant will tell you this, you'll find this on your financial statements, and then aggressively work to cut your expenses by 80%. Now that may seem huge, but there are companies who offer that as a service on a pure contingency basis. So they will work with you to identify your expense lines. They will work with you to minimize your expenses, and then over whatever the term of the engagement, they'll split the profit with you on a 50-50 relationship. Okay, so that's a very quick way of adding extra value to the business, is just cut all the unnecessary expenses. Now, these other 2 steps is something we'll come on in level 3. We'll talk about them later. But in the level 4, in the strategy number 4, minimize your expenses. Look at your top 7 line items and try and cut those expense lines by 80%.